And even though the crowds keep pouring into Branson, don't worry about a place to stay. The town has plenty of lodging. Some of the local favorites include the Southern Oaks and the Magnolia Inn.
So in 1995, we had 2 motels where people began to live in them. They were called weekly and extended stay motels. By 2008, we had over 40 of these motels. We realized that there is a huge housing issue, not only houses located next to jobs because of affordability and lack of public transportation, but that the model of living in extended stay motels was not going to be sustainable. I remember hearing Dr. Ben Carson talk about the solutions in communities that had zoning restrictions, that tiny houses could be a solution for that. And so we just started dreaming.
Okay, here's a funny story. Brian, my husband, and myself were at a restaurant in Branson, and Brian had been talking about this tiny home community for a couple years.
I'd been talking about it for a while, and she said, well, do you see that in your head?
I looked at him and I was like, can you actually see this in your mind? Like, do you know what this tiny home community looks like?
I said, I absolutely do. And so she said, well, write it down on this napkin.
So pulls out a napkin on the table and pulls out a pencil, and he maps out what this tiny home community could look like. And it was amazing because he had like streets and tiny businesses, and all the houses were nice and neatly drawn on the napkin. And at that point I realized, oh my gosh, he really has a vision for our community. God has gifted him as a visionary to help make really great changes for our area.
And I just saw that tiny houses could be so impactful. Plus we have this kind of shift right now too in our world economy. Maybe bigger's not better. Affordability is an issue, and so tiny could be the solution, maybe getting rid of stuff. I wish we'd kept that napkin because I had it sketched out, and it's very similar to what we're developing now.